Hello, and welcome to Let's Spend the Night Together Masterworks. The following segment has been selected for your enjoyment. Enjoy. Oh boy, do I have something to tell you.
Oh boy.
Okay, Mr. Lennon. John Lennon's infamous Lost Weekend revisited. By the summer of 1973, John Lennon and Yoko Ono's marriage was on the rocks.
The Lost Weekend.
Oh, hey, John.
Oh, I remember it.
So, yeah, it's surprising that their marriage would be on the rocks, but, c'est la vie. Cherchez la femme. As an unusual remedy, Ono suggested that Lennon embark on an affair with her assistant, May Pang. That decision led to Lennon's Lost Weekend. The 18 months that the ex-Beatle lived with Pang in her New York apartment.
Wow.
A rented home in L.A. Musically, it was a very productive time. Lennon completed 3 albums, Mind Games, Walls and Bridges, and Rock and Roll, and produced LPs for Ringo Starr.
That's right. That was a good album. Lots of good albums.
What did you play on that album?
I was lost. I was lost that weekend.
Lennon also said that he had an impromptu jam session that would be the last time he would record with Paul McCartney.
Yes. Paul McCartney.
But it was a period marked by Lennon's outrageous behavior while drunk or stoned. 2 weeks before the historic jam session, a drunken Lennon was tossed out of the Troubadour.
I had like 2 beers. It's bullshit.
Can you imagine? I bet he was a lightweight.
Oh man.
And just calling you a cunt.
Yeah, a fucking cunt.
Lennon referred to the time apart from Ono as the Lost Weekend, named after a 1945 film.
It was after a 1945 film.
Starring Ray Milland, an alcoholic writer. Ahead,
That's right,
some
Ray
of the highlights and low points. John Lennon's Last Weekend. So we're only going to talk about 2 aspects of this time for Lennon. But I'll give you some insight. Lennon's 1972 LP, Sometime in New York City, was a critical and commercial flop. Produced with Ono.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I had a feeling that one was just gonna... It was just gonna probably overshadow the Beatles in a way.
Yeah. Totally.
But it didn't. But I think Ono, as a producer,
oh yeah, she's brilliant.
She has her fingers on the knob. She knows what she's doing. And
no religion too.
Well, it's funny you say that, John. The album was a disappointment after the success of 1971's Imagine.
Imagine that.
Ono said, "I was very aware of what we were ruining each other's careers, and I was hated, and John was hated because of me." Damn. Ono told a newspaper, "I needed a rest. I needed a space. Can you imagine?"
Did he really? Pardon the pun. Can you imagine?
That's what she said. Can you imagine every day getting this vibration from people of hate? You want to go out of it. Go out, what? Yeah, go out of it.
Can you imagine?
Ono knew that Lennon was attracted to their personal assistant, May Pang, and believed that Pang would treat John well.
Oh, he treated me well.
I think he was a stick man, John. I think he might have started to lay some wood on Miss Pang. In an attempt to save their...
Paul was the walrus. I was the carpenter. I laid the wood. That's why I'm the carpenter. He was the walrus. He was dead.
Oh, man. Okay. In an attempt to save their marriage, Ono proposed that Pang begin an affair with Lennon. Pang, an employee since 1970, had worked with Lennon that summer on Mind Games. It was her permission, Pang told About.com. She wanted him to go out. They were having problems. He was ready to go out with somebody. It was either me or somebody else. Wow, that's... Wow. That seems like true. They were really interested in you, Pang.
Yeah.
In October, Lennon and Pang went to L.A. to promote Mind Games and decided to stay, but without Ono's restraint, Lennon began to drink heavily.
Began to de-May-ping down.
Yeah, I think he was... Do you think Pang, maybe, she was doing things that Yoko wasn't?
Maybe. Maybe, just maybe.
First off, I don't understand, the reasoning behind Yoko's just
there might have been a third hole off. Did
Yoko just know, I'm gonna lose this guy, so he might as well just go out and...
With my friend.
Fuck whatever he wants. Yeah.
Get it out of his system and come back, maybe, something like that.
I mean, it works.
Or maybe she was just playing mind games. Lots of mind games.
I want to talk about this one period during the Lost Weekend. December 1973, rock and roll recordings with Phil Spector.
He's another Liverpudlian lad. Now, I don't know where he's from. Creepy Phil Spector. Phil Spector.
So, John Lennon, 1973, he's about to record rock and roll. What do you know about Phil Spector? This is a story within a story. Yeah. We're going back to the beginning. This is a fucking Tarantino movie right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like The Watch.
Yeah.
Now, I know that he is an epic producer.
Yeah.
Super revolutionary, and Brian Wilson wanted to copy him and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Beatles used him as a producer. A lot of girl groups from the 50s. He had his own girl group.
Oh, that's right. And he would get writing credit on a lot of stuff. He'd get production credit.
Yeah, he was known to be very erratic. Though.
And he did the Wall of Sound.
Did the Wall of Sound? That's what he was best known for. He was a boy genius. So.
A boy.
So by this point, 1973, I mean...
He was no longer a boy.
He's no longer a boy. He wasn't a little boy. He was a little man. Phil Spector... Okay, flash forward. We're doing the Tarantino. Flash forward.
Yeah.
2006. He has a B-movie actress over to his house. Something happens. There's a gunshot. Phil Spector calls 911, says... This woman shot herself in my house, right?
Which, gosh darn it, that always happens.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Yeah. By gum, yeah. So, the police investigated.
They were ruining your day.
They love the Wall of Sound. Who doesn't love the Wall of Sound?
Oh, okay. So the ambulance probably gets there faster than usual. Because of the Wall of Sound.
They're on speed dial because this sort of thing happens a lot.
With Phil, he has accidents.
I killed another one. So,
rug and roll
everybody loves the Wall of Sound. He's being accused of murder.
He was the prodigal boy.
He was the prodigal boy. He was a shining star, big beautiful light.
The man with the golden cock.
Man with the golden cock. You throw it as fast as fuck. So yeah, they go to trial. So he's indicted for murder. Go to trial. All kinds of evidence against him. His butler heard him say "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?"
Oh wow!
After the shot, and she was found in a chair, kind of slumped back with a gun in her hand.
Oh, wow. The butler heard Phil say that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so she was found with a gun in her hand and a bullet to the face. And for whatever reason, her teeth were knocked out.
I just have to let it go. That's what Phil said?
Yeah. Phil was being, he was... this is...
He's got a temper. So
he's got a little bit of a temper.
Yoko. No.
So he's found guilty. There's the obvious the evidence against him is overwhelming. He doesn't know what to do. So
does he bring in John as a character witness?
Yeah, he uses he has a Swami come in, and he conjures up the spirit of John Lennon, and they ask John. It's funny that you bring that up because John's
I think he's a good chap. He's a good chap.
In L.A., Lennon hoped to record an LP of rock standards that had inspired him. To concentrate on singing, Lennon seceded full control to Phil Spector.
Oh, like in the bedroom?
Well, that's funny you say that, because Pang is still here. Now we're going even farther back.
Okay.
We're still talking about Pang. He was Dean Down Pang. He's got some of that tune...
Poon Pang?
Poon Pang. That's a tune Pang.
That kind of works.
Okay, Pang and drummer Jim told Uncut that Lennon's drinking and Spector's erratic behavior at the studios were a volatile mix. So Lennon, you know, this British guy, and this chap getting drunk. Phil Spector, insane.
This Liverpudlian man.
Prodigal son, boy genius.
Yeah, boy genius.
I think he's wearing a wig at this point too, so he's kind of, everybody's like, what is he doing?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. He would wear wigs to court, and one of them was like a fro.
Oh my God! Was one of them like a George Washington?
Yeah.
Parliamentary.
One of them was like a mod cut. Another one was a David Bowie red mullet.
Oh my God!
With dust in it. You guys are all drinking, and John was being one of the guys. Said, "Poon Pang." Everyone was blitzed as he. What is she talking about that? One of the bass players got into a car wreck. We got kicked out of the studio, and someone threw a bottle of liquor down the console.
Oh wow!
John was exercising all his bad habits, as were all of us, including Phil. The only problem was that Phil was the producer, and somebody had to be, sane.
And one of his bad habits happens to be killing people.
Killing women.
That's a little worse than like spitting or cursing.
Yeah. Can you imagine like Brian Eno compared to this guy?
Yeah. I mean, old Sourpuss.
Yeah, old Sourpuss Brian Eno is tame compared to Spector. This caught my eye. Spector would often dress as a surgeon, a karate instructor, or a cowboy, armed with a loaded revolver. One day, Spector fired the gun into the studio ceiling. Nothing was getting done, said Pang. Then Phil's gun went off. Spector then disappeared with the tapes for several months.
Whoa!
So he shoots a fucking gun, he takes the tapes and leaves.
Like holds the tapes hostage.
And holds them hostage.
Was that during like Lennon sessions?
Yes.
Of course it was. I was pissed.
Once the tapes were recovered, Lennon combined them with new tracks recorded in New York for what would become rock and roll, which was released in February 1975. When John came back to her, they eventually, remarried. They redid their vows. This is Yoko. It slowly started to dawn on me that John was not the trouble at all. John was a fine person. It was society that had become too much. We laugh about it now, but we started dating again. I wanted to be sure. I'm thankful to John's intelligence, that he was intelligent enough to know that this was the only way that we could save our marriage. Not because we didn't love each other, but because it was getting too much for me.
Doo-doo-doo-doo, Yoko.